Hi, welcome to this week's weekly vlog. Up in Westminster this week, it's been reasonably quiet in so much as sort of the main business was some legislation earlier in the week about sort of vehicle haulage and trailer safety. We did some stuff about tenancies as well. The sort of big headline political news of the week has been about this sort of continued debate over the customs union. On Monday, just as happened for all of my other colleagues on the government benches, the Prime Minister kindly gave us a very useful briefing setting out the pros and cons of both of the sort of the options that the government is most closely pursuing. And I'll talk more about that, I think, in a week or two's time when a bit more of the detail has fallen out. But she was clear, I mean, that the customs partnership has its pros and its cons, but so too does the max facts or maximum facilitation thing. And my personal view, I think, is that we need to do the stuff that we have control over in order to sort of be able to have a stronger sort of hand in trade negotiationships, both with the EU but also around the world. But that is much more easily said than done. And it's very useful to hear the Prime Minister's perspective earlier in the week. The other thing that happened this week in Parliament that I spoke in was a debate on the way that we're treating our armed forces veterans, particularly in the way that we're exposing them to legal challenges years after they have finished their service of our nation. I agree with all of my colleagues who say that it is utterly immoral that a soldier who has served their country, done their duty, and has long since retired is now finding themselves being investigated by the police for things that happened years ago. And we need to stop that. But as someone who served in our armed forces a bit more recently, the thing that really bothers me is that this isn't just about the veterans who might be caught up in that. The men and women of our armed forces right now, soldiers, sailors, airmen, marines, are really aware of all of this stuff happening to those who have served before us. And there's a reality that when they are on operations, they have a split second to make a decision and to pull the trigger and to use lethal force or to do whatever else it is that they need to do. And they have to do that based on their judgment, based on their instincts, and they rely on the chain of command to afterwards check that it was legal, that it was within the rules of engagement, to be robust in that investigation, but then to say that is it. Those people did the right thing, and they cannot then be exposed to vexatious legal challenges years after the event by ambulance chasing law firms like Lee Day. And I hope that the government very soon comes up with a way of dealing with this, because we cannot continue to expose our armed forces to that sort of vexatious legal challenge that just impacts on operational capability. Back here in Somerset, it's been a busy day. Great surgery this morning and a chat with the leadership of May District Council, and then a fantastic chat with the Chief Executive of Somerset Partnership NHS Trust, who told me this morning that after all of our hard work, campaigning, raising it in Parliament, the public meetings, all of the things that we have done and all the things that the people in the Shepton Mallet community have done, the community beds in Shepton Mallet Community Hospital will reopen on Monday the 9th of July, which is great news, a real win for everything that's been done locally to make that happen. So congratulations to everybody involved in that campaign. It's been brilliant, and it's great that those beds are going to be reopened. Finally, I've been here to randomly in the corner of the car park at Tesco's in Burnham-on-Sea to visit the amazing charity Somewhere House. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and there's been lots of discussion of mental health in Parliament as a result. It is way past time that all of us started to understand that it is as easy to break your head as it is to break your arm or anything else, and that when that happens, the treatment that you need is just as necessary as a plaster cast or whatever else might come your way. Breaking the taboo around mental health is such an important part of achieving the parity of esteem that is needed. Yes, we need to sort out the funding. Yes, we need to sort out the way that mental health care is provided so that it offers a sort of wider catchment and we can get to people before they are in crisis. But most importantly of all, it just needs us all to be aware that mental health is something that affects all of us, and it doesn't matter whether you are a soldier suffering from PTSD or you are somebody who has just had a really rubbish couple of months and your emotional health has deteriorated to the point that you've become mentally ill. All of that is something that we as a community, as a society, should be accepting of and genuinely seeking to be open and sort of to talk about, because I think that will do us all a whole load of good. So fantastic to come here in a week as important as Mental Health Awareness Week. Final thing to say is enjoy the bling of the wedding tomorrow. I'll be watching it with my kids and my wife. I know that my 3-year-old daughter is so excited about spending the morning in her princess dress and tiara, and my little boy made his Union Jack flag at school yesterday. So wherever you're watching the royal wedding, enjoy. Congratulations, Harry and Meghan.